I work as campaign manager at Kangaroos Alive, and I stand here as part of a delegation of Kangaroos Alive, Animals Australia and the Victorian Kangaroos Alliance, working to save the kangaroo, keystone species, native wildlife, sacred totem and national icon. At Kangaroos Alive, we advocate for a moratorium on commercial killing. And today we're here in Parliament alongside Animals Australia and Victorian Kangaroos Alliance, seeking positive change for kangaroos, acknowledging their importance, presenting this briefing and delivering a letter to the government to compel action to end cruelty and suffering experienced by kangaroos and transition to coexistence.
Those that came in 1834-35 came with weapons of mass destruction. The spade, the axe and the gun. And nothing has changed. But there is something quite special about the story of this country. The story that is now disappearing. And it's disappearing with those weapons of mass destruction. The creatures of this country had evolved over millions of years. The kangaroo, at least 14 million years, had evolved to be so integrated into the whole of this country, its very existence was woven into this country. The Aboriginal people that came, 65, maybe 100,000 years ago, also wove themselves into this country. And it's to their wisdom I look about what and how do I live my life.
I think it's time to stop the invasion, because the massacre of our kangaroos is, I don't think you realise that it's a story of us.
Place, an ancient animal that's cared for this place that we call Australia is under attack. That animal isn't the one with assault rifles. It's an animal that's become a refugee in its own home. It doesn't have access to its ancient songlines. In my language, we say, Wagala Jamaga, Wagala Wuru. So speak for country, speak for Buru. When we see these things, we need to give it voice and hold that responsibility, because it's our shared lineage in that way. We're given totems to hold responsibility. I am that animal. In my language we say Mujungal, and it's the protect the spirit of that.
The vets, nurses and rescuers who had all volunteered their time and were sleeping on the floor of that triage centre to comfort the orphans and nurse the injured. They were woken one night by the sound of gunshots in the neighbouring paddock. It was the local commercial kangaroo shooter who thought that he would come opportunistically to have a look for any survivors before those fires were even extinguished. There was a fence line separating those who were there to care and those who were there to kill. And never before has this disparity between the community concern for wildlife welfare and the state's kangaroo harvesting management plan been so obvious to us. Locals called on the department at the time for at least amnesty for these fractured and displaced mobs, but it wasn't to be. They allowed the shooting to continue unabated. We've got members of the EU Parliament and US Congress introducing bills to ban the import of kangaroo products on the basis of poor welfare, and the Australian government is financially supporting the promotion and expansion of the industry, including the Allan government. So it's little wonder that the Victorian community are increasingly upset at what's happening here on our doorstep. Whether they're experiencing the outcome of this industry firsthand, seeing miss-shot kangaroos who have survived, or just hearing shooting happening around them of an evening. There's a growing awareness of what's really happening out there under the cover of darkness, and once decent, caring Victorians find out, they are not okay with it.
I just want to say a really big thank you so much. My office, and I'm sure all the organisations here, are absolutely dedicated to do every single thing that we can to protect our native icons from this horrific slaughter that happens under the cover of darkness in our state, and I know slowly but surely we will make that happen. Thank you.